Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. I literally had just got done playing hours and hours and hours of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. This is a game that has been on my radar since Nintendo first announced it. It was such a pleasant surprise, actually. Never in my mind did I think Nintendo would do a sequel to Hyrule Warriors. So when Hyrule Warriors first came out on the Wii U, I was intrigued and interested because I previously played some of the Warriors games. You had like Warriors Orochi 3 on the Wii U. You also had the Dynasty Warriors, and they're more of like a hack and slash type of video game where you go from certain areas on the map and you defend or conquer certain areas. So there'd be like an A outpost, a B outpost, a C outpost, and a D outpost, and your objective is to overall gain control of the battlefield while killing certain monsters and enemies along the way. So that same gameplay style came to the Zelda franchise with Hyrule Warriors, and now we have Age of Calamity. But what intrigued me the most about this is that it's actually a prequel to Breath of the Wild, which is probably one of the greatest video games of all time. Not just one of the best Zelda games of all time, but one of the greatest video games of all time. Probably in the top 2 Nintendo Switch games ever as of right now. This is set 100 years before the events of Calamity Ganon that caused the destruction in the world of Hyrule in Breath of the Wild. Now, the story starts off kind of intriguing. You see the Calamity Ganon destroying Hyrule, taking over in future Hyrule, and a little guardian robot actually wakes up and gets sucked into a time vortex and ends up going to the past 100 years. So this is 100 years before the events of Breath of the Wild. You see all the champions that were in Breath of the Wild when they're at their prime, when they're strong warriors like Rivoli and Urbosa, and you get to see young Link, you get to see young Impa and other characters, and it's really cool seeing all these characters interact with each other in the cutscenes because we saw different versions of them. Now we're seeing them from 100 years in the past. It's almost like you're reuniting with some friends because Breath of the Wild had a lot of lore, a lot of history behind it, and it just had that emotional backstory behind it, and we just heard all like the history and got hints and glimmers of stuff in Zelda's memories and Link's memories, but now we get to actually relive a whole bunch of stuff. This is more than just a spin-off. This is a bona fide entry to Breath of the Wild that completes it. It makes the story feel so much bigger, and it's awesome, and that's why I was intrigued by it. Now, I'm not going to get into further details other than the premise that it takes place 100 years in the past, that a little guardian robot gets sucked into a time vortex, and now you have to prep for Calamity Ganon. They know Calamity Ganon is coming, and they're doing everything they can to stop him. So they're going to take control of the Divine Beast, try to conquer all the areas, and try to get ahead of the curve. We all know, unfortunately, what happens in the long run if we played Breath of the Wild, but there might be a few twists and turns in this game that throw you off a little bit. No spoilers. Now, again, if you've played the Warrior series, this is not like a regular Zelda game. If you've never played Hyrule Warriors or Dynasty Warriors or any of them, and you're going into thinking that Age of Calamity is a Zelda game, you are going to be disappointed. Do not set yourself up for failure. This is anything but a Zelda game. I had so many people in my live chat yesterday when I was playing it say, oh, so is this open world? Nope. They got confused. They saw the map of Hyrule. The map on this game is just a thing to select levels. It shows what missions are available, what opens up, what shops. You click them and you go to a set stage. There's no open world exploration. There's no dungeons. There's absolutely nothing about Legend of Zelda in this other than the characters and the story and references to it. So get that out of your head. This is not a Zelda game. This is a Warriors game. So how do Warrior games play? It's a hack and slash. So you can take control of a couple of characters. You get like a squad. You pick your weapon. You can do a one-handed sword, a two-handed sword, a spear. You can have ranged weapons, and your characters get certain abilities that help power them up in the thing. You can charge up like a meter that allows you to have a big attack with button A. You can do a strong attack, a weak attack. You can use your Stasius attacks. You can use your Sheikah Slate attacks to do big, you know, ice attacks or magnet attacks or stasis attacks. Basically, all of the Sheikah Slate power-ups that you had in Breath of the Wild, they added them onto this. So, yeah, it's a very action-oriented game with a lot of RPG elements, actually, because there's a lot of leveling up, a lot of grinding to get your character's abilities and stats filled out, because each different level has a recommended level that they want you to be in experience. Now, one thing that I really enjoyed about this game is that it does seem like it does use Breath of the Wild's engine for the graphics, for the art design, for the layout of certain areas. You'll see certain, you know, maps that are actually towns like Gerudo Village or, you know, Hyrule Castle, and it's the exact area in the original Breath of the Wild game, so it matches up perfectly. In fact, it feels like you are fully immersed in the Breath of the Wild world, other than the core gameplay mechanics. Now, again, with the core gameplay mechanics, it's more about the battlefield when you go into this game. It's not exactly what's directly in front of you. Do not get caught up just killing the enemies in front of you, because they will respawn. The Warrior series are infamous for these big hordes of enemies that you see pop up in front of you, and you'll be there all day trying to kill them. You gotta go from certain highlighted points on the map. You'll see certain areas that you have to defend or certain areas that you have to take over, and they'll be highlighted on the map. It's basically conquer as much of the map as you can and fill out these certain objectives, whether it's, hey, go take control of Sector A, or go kill the captain that's in Sector B, and watch your character's levels. Now, once you get your squad set up, you can actually direct and order them to go do certain things. So you can have Impa go to Area A, you can have Zelda go to Area B, you can have Link go to Area C. So if you played a Warriors game in the past, you'll be like a duck in water in this. But if you've never have, it might take a little bit of getting used to, especially if you're going in thinking this is a Zelda game, but it's not impossible at all. In fact, it's actually rather easy, and while it might feel a bit repetitive at times, the game definitely does pick up the pace as you go further into the game. So don't get discouraged by the kind of slow beginning that this game gives you, because it does make you get the Ballad of Champions first, like all the champions, before it really sinks into the story. Now, there's a lot of side quests, a lot of side missions that help upgrade your characters, and there's also the main quest line. It's not going to be as much of a time sink as Breath of the Wild, but there is a fair amount of content here, and I'm willing to bet, just like all the other Warriors games, there will be DLC coming for this eventually. It's, you know, paid DLC that you have to buy, because Hyrule Warriors previously had it as well. The music. Zelda games, perfect with music. Once again, Hyrule Warriors has a great new song that is just stuck in my head. It's once you hear it, especially when you're in the map selection screen, it touches your heart. The cutscenes, my god, the voice acting, the cutscenes, the action, the story, everything about it is on par. So, the only thing that I could really go on to say that is bad about this game, and I'm sure you've already heard people say it before, is that this game unfortunately suffers from a lot of frame rate issues. And this is something I've seen common in the Warrior series in the past. I think it's honestly because of just how many enemies and characters are on the screen at once. It's too much. And the Switch seems like it chugs along at times. You'll see this game is literally dipping frames like it's on life support. It's not at any point really game breaking. The game never crashed for me. It never glitched. But it is a bit of an eyesore. And the graphics also seem a little bit choppy and grainy at times. During the cutscenes, they're perfect. These look like high quality things, but when you get into the thick of things and you get into action, my god, does it look terrible. I'm hoping Nintendo patches it up soon enough and takes care of it, but it kind of concerned me because I know this was an issue that was on the demo, and it's now on the full game, and they even had an update when you pop this game in today, and it still didn't fix. So hopefully Nintendo takes care of that. Honestly, I would say that's maybe the worst thing I could think about this game. The combat on it is amazing. If you guys get the hang of it, you can be pulling off combos in no time, charging up your attacks, using your Sheikah Slate stuff. It definitely improved. If I was going to say something from the original Hyrule Warriors to this one, it definitely improved the way the combat was in this game. It's seamless. It actually looks a lot more advanced and scarier than it really is. Don't let it intimidate you, because at the end of the day, you can figure out this game and play it, even if you're not familiar with Warrior series. And on the bright side, you don't have to even previously played the original Hyrule Warriors, because this is not connected to that in any way. This is connected to Breath of the Wild. You can even play this before Breath of the Wild. So you won't get spoiled either way, whether you play Breath of the Wild first or this one. So either way, you can play that. So if you think you have to play the first Hyrule Warriors, no, you don't. Honestly, I'm really impressed with what Nintendo and Koei Tecmo did with this. They did a fantastic job putting this game together. To think that one of the most beloved franchises in Nintendo history can have such a success in being a completely different genre and still connect to one of its greatest games of all time and make you feel like you just jumped in right at home, right from where you left off, is phenomenal. So with that, I could say Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is definitely a solid 8 out of 10. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Zelda mark or that I'm 8-Bit Eric. Honestly, a great game. It caught me, you know, by surprise when it was announced. It kept my attention while I played it. And it's solid. It's something different for a franchise I love that definitely holds me over until Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Consider supporting 8-Bit Eric on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description. You want to become part of the hashtag 8BE Nation, guys? Well, be sure to pick up your official merch, now available online. Link is below in the description. We got classic t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, and even women's apparel. Don't forget, pick up your official merch now. And while you're at it, guys, feel free to watch the next video, or why don't you catch up on one that you might have previously missed. Thanks again, guys, for all the support. I couldn't do this without you. You guys are amazing, and don't forget to subscribe and click that like button if you are brand new. Thanks again, guys. Peace out.